When Chapman Billies leave the street, and drouthy neighbours meet, as market days are weir and late, and folk begin to tack the gate, while we sit boozing at the nappy, and getting fou and unco happy, we think not on the long Scots miles, the mosses, waters, slaps and stiles, that lie between us and our hame, where sits our sulky sullen dame, gathering her brows like gathering storm, nursing her wrath to keep it warm. This truth found honest Tam O'Shanter, as he frae air a nick did canter. Old air, whem ne'er a town surpasses, for honest men and bonny lasses. O Tam, hadst thou but been sae wise, as ta'en thy ain wife Kate's advice, she told thee weel thou was a skellum, a bletherin', blusterin', drunken blellum, that frae November till October, ae market day thou wasna sober, that ilka melder with the miller thou sat as lang as thou had siller, that every nag was cat a shoe on, the smith and thee got roaring fou on, that at the Lord's house, e'en on Sunday, thou drank with Kirk and Jean till Monday. She prophesied that late or soon thou would be found deep drowned in Doon, or catched wi' warlocks in the mirk by Holloway's old haunted kirk. Ah, gentle dames, it gars me greet to think how many counsels sweet, how many lengthened sage advices, the husband frae the wife despises. But to our tale. Ae market night, Tam got planted unco right, fast by an ingle blazing finely, with reaming swats that drank divinely, and at his elbow Souter Johnny, his ancient trusty drouthy crony. Tam lo'ed him like a verra brither, they had been fou for weeks thegither. The night drave on with songs and clatter, and aye the ale was growing better. The landlady and Tam grew gracious, with secret favours sweet and precious. The suitor told his queerest stories, the landlord's laugh was ready chorus. The storm without might rare and rustle, Tam didna mind the storm a whistle. Care mad to see a man sae happy, in drowned himsel amang the nappy. As bees flee hame with lades of treasure, the minutes wing their way with pleasure. Kings may be blessed, but Tam was glorious, o'er all the ills of life victorious. But pleasures are like poppy spread, you seize the flower, its bloom is shed, or like the snow falls in the river, a moment white, then melts forever, or like the borealis race, that flit ere you can point their place, or like the rainbow's lovely form, vanishing amid the storm. Nae man can tether time or tide, the hour approaches, Tam mun ride. That hour o' night's black arch the keystane, that dreary hour he mounts his beast in, and sic a night he tacks the road in, as ne'er poor sinner was abroad in. The wind blew as 'twad blown its last, the rattling showers rose on the blast, the speedy gleams the darkness swallowed, loud, deep, and lang the thunder bellowed. That night a child might understand, the deil had business on his hand. Weel mounted on his grey mare Meg, a better never lefted leg, Tam skilpit on through dub and mire, despising wind and rain and fire, whilst holding fast his good blue bonnet, whilst crooning o'er some old Scots sonnet, whilst glowering round with prudent cares, lest bogles catch him unawares. Kirk Holloway was drawing nigh, where ghaists and hoolits nightly cry. By this time he was crossed the ford, where in the snow the chapmen smored, and past the birks in Mecklestane, where drunken Charlie bracks neck bane, and through the winds and by the cairn, where hunters fanned the murdered bairn, and near the thorn aboon the well, where Mungo's mither hanged hersel. Before him Doon pours all his floods, the doubling storm runs through the woods, the lightnings flash from pole to pole, Near and more near the thunders roll, when glimmering through the groaning trees, Kirk Alloway seemed in a blaze. Thro' ilka bore the beams were glancing, and loud resounded mirth and dancing. Inspiring bold John Barleycorn, what dangers thou canst make us scorn. With Tippany we fear nae evil, with Uskabay we'll face the divil. The swats say reamed in Tommy's noddle, fair play he cared na deals a boddle. But Maggie stood right sair astonished, till by the heel and hand admonished, she ventured forward on the light. And woe, Tom saw an unca sight. Warlocks and witches in a dance, nae cotillion bray new frae France, but hornpipes, jigs, raspays and reels put life and metal in their heels. A winnock bunker in the east, there sat old Nick in shape o' beast. A towsy tyke, black, grim, and large, to give 'em music was his charge. He screwed the pipes and girt them skirl, till roof and rafters did dirl. Coffins stood round like open presses, that shawed the dead in their last dresses, and by some devilish cantrap sleight, each in its cold hand held a light, by which heroic Tom was able to note upon the haly table a murderer's banes in gibbet urns, 'twas spanlang wee unchristened bairns. A thief new cutted frae the rape, wi' his last gasp his gab did gape, 5 tomahawks with blood red rusted, 5 scimitars with murder crusted, a garter which a babe had strangled, a life a father's throat had mangled, whom his ain son o' life bereft, the grey hairs yet stack to the heft, wi' mair o' horrible and awful, which e'en to name would be unlawful. As Tommy glowered amazed and curious, the mirth and fun grew fast and furious. The piper loud and louder blew, the dancers quick and quicker flew, they reeled, they set, they crossed, they clickit, till ilka carlin swat and reekit, and cost their duddies to the wark, and linkit at it in her sark. Now Tam o' Tam, had they been queens, a plump and strappin' in their teens, their sarks instead of creashy flannin, been snow white 1700 linen. Their breeks o' mine, my only pair, that ain't wore plush o' good blue hair, I would have given them off I herdies, for a blink o' the bonny birdies. But withered bedlams old and droll, ring woody hags would span a foal, loping and flinging on a crummock, a wonder did not turn thy stomach. But Tam kenned what was what fu brawly. There was a winsome wench in Whalley that night enlisted in the corps, lang after kenned on Carrick shore. For mony a beast to dead she shot, and perished mony a bonny boat, and shook baith meikle corn and beer, and kept the countryside in fear. Her cutty sark o' paisley harn, that while a lassie she had worn, in longitude, though sorely scanty, it was her best and she was vanty. Ah, little kenned thy reverend granny, that sark she coughed for her wee nanny. With 12 pund Scots, 'twas all her riches, would ever graced a dance of witches. But here my muse her wing moon cower, sick flights are far beyond her power, to sing how Nanny lap and flang, a supple jade she was and strang, and how Tom stood like ane bewitched, and thought his very een enriched. Even Satan glowered and fidged fu fain, and hotched and blew with might and main, till first a caper, syne another, Tom tint his reason together, and roars out, "Well done, Cutty Sark!" And in an instant all was dark, and scarcely had he Maggie rallied, when out the hellish legion sallied, as bees biz out with angry fyke, when plundering herds assail their bike, as open pussies mortal foes, when pop she starts before their nose, as eager runs the market crowd, when catch the thief resounds aloud. So Maggie runs, the witches follow, with money and eldritch screech and hollow. Ah, Tam, thou'll get thy ferrin, in hell they'll roast thee like a herrin, in vain thy Kate awaits thy comin', Kate soon will be a woeful woman. Now do thy speedy utmost, Meg, and win the key stane of the brig. There at them thou thy tail may toss, a running stream they dare na cross. But ere the key stane she could make, the faint at tail she had to shake. For Nanny far before the rest, hard upon noble Maggie pressed, and flew at Tam with furious ettle. But little wished she Maggie's mettle, a spring brought off her master hale, but left behind her ain grey tail. The carlin caught her by the rump, and left poor Maggie scarce a stump. Now what this tale a truth shall read, ilk man and mother's son take heed, whene'er to drink ye are inclined, or cutty sarks run in your mind. Think, ye may buy the joys o'er dear. Remember Tam O'Shanter's mere.